which means that the insanity of the current American president is now officially taken for granted in the news media.
Yesterday, I did a video about Donald Trump's Truth Social post about Joe Biden being a robotic clone, and that the real Joe Biden was executed, not assassinated, but executed, which would indicate some kind of governmental role to play there, executed in 2020. So the Joe Biden that we experienced during his entire presidency was a robot clone. Donald Trump posted this. And in the thumbnail, I think I said certifiably insane, and I talked about the fact that this is psychotic behavior. Donald Trump is a psychopath, not colloquially, I believe clinically, not a mental health professional, don't have the ability or the qualification to diagnose, but he's a sociopath. He has little empathy or no empathy, no ability to connect with another human being, no concern for the struggles or problems of anybody else other than himself. He's fixated on himself. And he's also a fucking lunatic. The president of the United States posting about this, and also, this from a few days ago, I didn't end up doing this video. May 28th, he posted this image of, he's on a mission from God and nothing can stop what's coming. If someone in your life told you God sent them to do something, you would think they were insane. If you see someone on a street corner babbling incoherently about robotic clones and the president of the United States not really being who we think he is, or in the words of this post that Donald Trump posted, clones, doubles, and robotic engineered, soulless, mindless entities are what you see. Democrats don't know the difference. You would think that person is insane. You would know that person is insane. And the media is asleep, largely. Last night, Lawrence O'Donnell, it's very nice to see someone within the confinement of corporate media, of mainstream media, calling balls and strikes, actually saying what is happening on the ground in American politics right now. And Lawrence O'Donnell not only did that, he took a shot at CNN without naming CNN in their complicity in the overtaking of the United States by fascism under Donald Trump. Because we've got Jake Tapper out there going on Megyn Kelly's podcast, finding every right-wing media outlet he can find to talk about Joe Biden's cognition, when we have someone currently in the White House destroying the country, defying the Constitution, who says Joe Biden is a robotic clone. Watch Lawrence O'Donnell. We'll talk about a couple of these points on the other side.
Needless to say, Donald Trump is the only president in history who can publicly embrace and accept and believe such insanity without immediately provoking a rush of questions by the White House press corps and news organizations around the world about the sanity of the American president, which means that the insanity of the current American president is now officially taken for granted in the news media. No huge banners on the cable news network that recently devoted itself to the issue of presidential mental acuity. The overwhelming majority of the American news media has absolutely no problem now with Donald Trump saying there is no Joe Biden executed in 2020. Donald Trump didn't actually write those words himself, but he found those words in his poison social media feed, and he decided to fully endorse and embrace those words. The New York Times remains one of the news organizations that finds that kind of behavior in a president strange, though not worthy of big front page headlines. And so the New York Times ran a story titled, "Trump Amplifies Another Outlandish Conspiracy Theory, Biden is a Robotic Clone." And here is the most important line in that story. The White House did not respond to requests for comment on the post about Mr. Biden. That, of course, would be impossible for any other White House if the president amplified, quote, another outlandish conspiracy theory. If any other president said that a previous living president is a robotic clone, that White House would not be able to simply refuse to comment. But that is how fully Donald Trump has crushed political reporting and political coverage in this country. And because he has crushed it, he can, in publicity terms anyway, get away with anything, and he knows it. Donald Trump is behaving like someone who believes he can get away with anything.
Where I think Lawrence is wrong here, respectfully, is that Donald Trump has not crushed coverage. They bent the knee. CNN made a decision to cover Donald Trump differently. The New York Times covers Donald Trump differently. Corporate media, NBC, as much as Donald Trump whines and complains about fake news NBC, they cover him as graciously as about any other network, with Kristen Welker and these other bootlicking sycophants who can't ask a tough question of a Republican to save their life, yet want to feign holding Democrats' feet to the fire about everything with this both sides nonsense. We currently have a president of the United States who doesn't just traffic or flirt with conspiracy, he leans all the way in. And we know the danger that is posed by his cadre of supporters, the most violent, unhinged, willing to sacrifice it all for Donald Trump. And when you enter in wild conspiracy theories about executed presidential candidates who are now robotic clones and Donald Trump himself being sent by God, it is a recipe for the destruction of the American Republic. Full stop. Big fat exclamation point. All capital letters, to speak in Donald Trump's vernacular. We are in a very, very tight spot in American history. And without the media, without a robust, free and fair press asking the questions that need to be asked, not allowing the White House to just say, not comment, no comment about the lunatic seated president of the United States. We're not going to comment about that. Well, then you're not doing your job if you allow everything to go on as normal without getting an answer to that question. Everything should come to a screeching halt because of the real, clear, and present danger that Donald Trump poses. We should have answers to these questions. Is Donald Trump, is it a goof? Is Donald Trump acting as though he's just playing around? Is it a funny joke to Donald Trump? Or does our demented, lunatic, psychopath president really believe Joe Biden was executed in 2020 before taking office? Joe Biden took office in 2021, January 20th at noon in 2021. So this means Joe Biden was executed before becoming president. And then the man who served as president was the robotic clone. Republicans laugh it off. Republicans are actually trying to both sides. I'm going to talk about that in a subsequent video. Chris Sununu last night with Abby Phillip, and Abby Phillip doing the same thing that the media is doing right now. Both sides in it. Well, you make a fair point. Yeah, Democrats also believe in conspiracy theories. What? Anyway. What do you think? I invite you to this, I think, very important conversation. This is beyond distraction. This is something that we need to set our attention to and get answers about. Thank you to Lawrence O'Donnell. Thank you for MSNBC to not fully bend in the knee, not fully go in the way of Joe Scarborough, the ass-kiss sycophant to Donald Trump. We need more boldness. We need more bravado from our mainstream media and not these simpering, whimpering cowards that we see on CNN and Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson over at Axios. Again, what do you think? You can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line and leave me a fewer than 3-minute voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I love and appreciate you. I would appreciate if you would consider supporting this work, helping me grow this program, reaching more people. There's all kinds of things that we have planned, and with your help, we can do it even quicker. You can click the join button below for $2 a month, become a channel member. You can click my link below in the description to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast, $2 a month. If you're not in a financial position, don't do it. If you're on a fixed income, don't do it. Like, subscribe, comment on the video, share it with your social media. All that is also very helpful. I'll see you next time. I love and appreciate you very much. Be genuine. Take care of one another.